back, everybody. My name is Exonerated, and we are today playing on Remedaut. I wanted to get underway today with some Botania, and I've been a little busy, so let's kind of go over what's going on here. So Botania is a mod that focuses on flowers and a natural generation. The idea being is that you want to be able to craft and do things, but only use natural fauna. You don't want to use any pipes of any sort. And instead of energy, it's all based on something called mana. Now, what I've gone and done here is I've created a Lexica Botania. This is real easy to make. You just take a book and you put it in a crafting table with a oak sapling, I believe. Let's check it out. Yep, book or any sapling. You get the Lexica Botanica, and this right here is kind of like the basis book for what you need to do for using Botania and actually working through it. Of course, this mod was made by Vasky, which you can see right there on the book. So what you start off doing is you flip through your book and the basics and mechanics, and it goes through everything that you need. Now, you want to start off generating mana as quickly as possible, because that's basically like the fuel, that the energy that the mod uses to operate. And the best way to do that is to go into the book, look at generating flora, and the very first item up here is a day bloom. And it shows you how to lay out your day blooms. But basically, these flowers during the day generate mana from the sun. And they're real easy to make. Most of the flowers are the same way. You go through, you take and you put some water in this item called a petal apothecary. And let's take a look how to make that real quick. Let's see, it is it natural apparatus? I don't think so. No. Mystical items. No. It's in here somewhere, I swear. Oh, here it is, right up front. Petal apothecary. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to lay out some cobblestone, get 2 slabs, and put a mystical petal in it. Now, mystical petals come from any of the naturally generating flowers from Botania. And right here I have a whole field of them just laid out. These flowers generate naturally in your world. And of course it would rain. And I think it's even a thunderstorm. But anyway, good thing we got weather off, don't we? Please say we do. Whoops, not video, it's audio. We do. Cool. Okay, so basically what you do is you just grab yourself one of these flowers, pick it up, put it in your crafting grid, and you get 2 petals for every flower you pick up. Of course, there's a flower for each of the 16 different colors. And yeah, that's basically how you get petals. And then what you do is with your petal apothecary, here, let's make a day bloom real quick and I'll show you. A day bloom, if you paid attention to the book, takes 2 yellow, an orange, and I believe a light blue. Let me dump off this living rock here. We're going to take that, and I dropped one. Okay. So we're going to go over here to our petal apothecary. Now, you're supposed to be able to right-click into it, but I'm finding I'm having a little trouble doing that. So instead of right-clicking, I'm just going to simply toss them out. So we got a light blue, 2 yellow, and an orange, and you'll see they just spin around in the machine. It picks them up automatically. And then, of course, you toss in a seed. For every flower that goes in this petal apothecary, you need a seed. And bang, out comes the day bloom right to your hotbar, which is kind of cool. And so you just place your flower down. Now, these flowers on their own, they generate mana. And if you look at them, they have a little bar over them. Well, this right here is a mana spreader. And if you put these flowers near a mana spreader, the ones that generate flower or mana, it automatically starts collecting mana. And you see the little green bar in there. It's filling up. So it's collecting mana right now from the flowers that are generating. Now, these day bloom here, they only collect it during the day, but the ones I got with them, the nightshade, they collect it whenever it's dark outside. That includes when it's raining. So you can see like our mana is filling up in our spreaders here from where I have nightshade and day bloom kind of set up. So I have them both feeding into this mana pool. And then what you want to do is you want to be able to take this mana and use it to do some other things. So I set up another mana pool over here, and I have some other mana spreaders set up, and you can see they're both full. I have one of them feeding this over here, and we'll go over what that's for today. And then we have another one over here feeding an altar. Now, the runic altar is kind of a way to create these things called runes within Botania, and you need them to do different things. So let's kind of look at the runic altar. The first thing that you come across that allows you to make is runes of water, of course, earth, air, and fire. And then you can use those items in combination, or those runes rather, in combination with other items to make other things, including a rune of spring, summer, fall, and winter. And actually, I think it's autumn, not fall. It's autumn. And then you've got some other ones you can make. You can make a rune of mana, a rune of lust, a rune of gluttony, greed. I wonder if it's all 7. Looks like sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. And so you can use those runes to make different things. So basically what I started off today was I went through and I prepped up a dozen earth, air, fire, and water. There's the other one. I prepped up a dozen of each of those because they take a long time to make. And then I went through and started going about making some other things. So the biggest thing we're going to run into is having enough flowers to have enough petals to produce things. And we want to be able to stockpile these flowers. So that's what this is about here. This mana pool right here, which is slowly filling up, and they do slowly fill up, is going to be set up simply to procure flowers. So I went through, if we look in the Botania book, there's a functional flora section, and there's a whole bunch of flowers here that you can craft doing different things, but this one struck my interest. It's jaded amaranthus, and what you do is you feed it with mana from a mana pool, and it will quickly grow new mystical flowers around it in any spots it can. And then, of course, it shows you how to make it. So what we can do is, essentially, is we can put this jaded amaranthus down. Now, let's bulldoze these flowers here for a second. And I'll have to clean them up. Alright, I think they're all knocked down. Okay, so let me go ahead and start dumping them off. We'll put this here, and we'll put some runes in here just to clear up some inventory space so that we can do maybe these two also. So this is what we'll do. We'll go through and collect this all up. Oh, that guy. Very ninja-like of you. Okay. And you can see, again, it goes through. You have all sorts of different colors. And there's one for all 16 base colors in Minecraft. Whoops, I didn't get this one. Alright. So there we go. You can see we have, whoops, not my grass. We have a total of 12, 15. We got 15 flowers. That white mystical flower there is number 16. So there's 16 different flowers. So basically this jaded amaranthus that we were talking about earlier, if we go through and pick up the flowers we missed, there we go. It's within 4 blocks. If I put it right here, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks, and then a mana pool. And I don't know what the distance is. I just found this works well. You plop down the Jaded Amaranthus, and it starts using mana from the mana pool to conjure up flowers. And it'll slowly fill in the space, which is really cool. So, okay, now we have a way to have flowers. But now what we want is a way to be able to pick them up and put them in here. Well, let's backtrack. Let's harvest them first. So I was looking in here, and there is a mystical item called a Horn of the Wild. And it's real simple. You take pasture seed and some living wood and just put it in this shape, and you get a horn. And what the horn does, if you read it, simply blowing it will cause any nearby vegetation to uproot, leaving behind drops as if they had been broken. So we've got a way to grow the flowers. Now let's find a way to harvest the flowers. So I've got some living wood in here. I think we needed 5 if I remember correctly. And we needed a pasture seed, which for pasture seeds, if you toss a grass trimming into a mana pool, you'll get a pasture seed. So let's go to our crafting table, and we're going to do this, that, and pasture seed. And now we've got our Horn of the Wild. So if we walk over here and we blow it, up come all the flowers. Notice how it doesn't pick up the Jaded Amaranthus. It only picks up everything else, which is really cool. So let's go ahead and dump those off again. And there. Maybe we should consolidate some of this free space like that, so it's all in the same place. There we go. And we'll just go through and pick up the rest. So what we've got is we've got this horn now that will harvest crops, or the flowers rather, and of course we've got the means to grow them. So how can we automate this? Well, Botania has a really nice function for that, and it is, where is it? I know you're here. Natural apparatus, and it's a Drum of the Wild. So much like a Horn of the Wild, the Drum of the Wild will do the harvesting for you without having you to click it. So let's go ahead and grab some leather up here. And we've got a couple pieces. And let's see, how did that go again? Okay. So we're going to put leather here and here. And we're not going to do it here because I don't have any more living wood, rather. Okay. So let's grab 6 pieces of living wood, I believe. Alright. And we got our leather, living wood on the outside. And if we put our Horn of the Wild in the middle, we get a Drum of the Wild. And so again, this Drum of the Wild will do exactly what the Horn of the Wild will do, but it would do it automatically. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to have a way to kind of set this thing off. It will only set off if you have a mana spreader that is a redstone spreader. And if you read the instructions here, it actually says to trigger a beat and break nearby foliage, one would fire a mana burst at the drum. It's note that the drum does not store mana, hence in order to trigger it, a redstone mana spreader or a mana blaster is required. So let's look at a redstone mana spreader. We'll pull up NEI. Mana spreader, and we got a redstone one right here, and it's just a mana spreader with a bit of redstone. Well, that's easy to do. We have our mana spreaders right here. And we're going to put those up with redstone mana. Now, the mana spreaders aren't hard either. You just take living wood, gold, and a mystical white petal, or any other mystical petal, and boom, you get your mana spreader. So now we have a redstone spreader set up. And let's put this, we're going to put this beside it, I think. And so now we want to be able to manipulate these spreaders, and I didn't even show you this. But let's go to the beginning, basics. Let's see. Wand of the Forest is simple and easy to make. You get 3 living wood twigs, which you can make living wood from. So let's backtrack a little bit. Mystical, is there any more flowers in there? I'm trying to remember what flower. Let's see. Oh, pure daisy. That's what I wanted. Pure daisy. All right, this flower is easy to craft. You put 4 white mystical petals in there. And I think I have one. Oh, I have 6. Okay. So basically, I need to backtrack a little bit, but basically after you create day blooms and you get your little situation set up here, you need to find a way to be able to make living wood and living rock. And they're kind of like the 2 building blocks of Botania. So what you'll craft first is going to be these pure daisies. And what you can do is you go through and you get either smooth stone or you get wood, logs. So let's grab some of each. Some stone, and I know I have some oak. And some oak. Okay, so you go through and you place them around the daisy in any old way you want to, but they have to be directly around it in the 8 spaces around a daisy. And then what you do is you simply wait 60 seconds, I believe is the countdown on it, and these blocks will all start changing. When they change over, you get what is living rock and then living wood from the logs. And you know it's working because you'll see the white glowing off of it like that. So the living rock and living wood are what you make most of your machines out of, including these mana spreaders. So then you need a wand of the forest, which to get a wand of the forest, you just take some of your living wood, put 2 of them together to make a twig, and then you put 2 twigs, and it doesn't matter which petals you use. You can use any 2 petals, but that makes you a wand. Now the wand is used in 2 ways. It's used in function mode, and it's used in bind mode. Bind allows you to take an item, holding down shift to crouch, you right click on one item, and then you right click on another. And that aims blocks so that they can perform the functions that you want to do. Like for instance, I aim this mana spreader at this mana pool. Even though they're not in a straight line, it'll actually turn to angle it, just like this redstone mana spreader did. Is this building up? Yep. So let's get a button. I can make a button. We've got, anyway, going back to where we were, we've got our system set up here so that we've got our redstone mana spreader and our drum of the wild on top of our jaded amaranthus. I wonder if this will work. Doesn't seem to be wanting to let me put that there. Can I do this? And then this? Alright, so let's see if this will... There we go. So it went through and harvested everything by activating the redstone mana spreader. So now it's gone through and harvested all of our plants, which is amazing and cool, right? Because now we can go through and harvest our plants with just a click, and we can go through and collect them all up. And of course, we are going to put them in our chest. So now what we need is we need one last item. We need a way to pick these flowers up so that we don't have to worry about losing them. I mean, after 5 minutes, if we don't grab them, they're gone, right? Now, I could use a vacuum hopper. Yay, we got daytime. I could use a vacuum hopper, but I don't want to. I want to use Botania to do its own harvesting. And is that everything? That's everything. So, oh, I thought it harvested again. I got distracted. Okay. So what we want now is we want a way to harvest everything to pick it up. And if we go look into our functional flora, we will find down here there's a plant actually called a hopper hawk. And what it does is it grabs everything that hits the ground near it. We need a redstone root, which is real easy. That's just redstone and a piece of grass. We've got a rune of air. We've got some mana petals, regular light gray petal, regular gray mana petal, and then a regular mystical gray mana petal. That's kind of a mouthful. But basically what you do is you can come through and get yourself a petal, and then you walk over to a mana pool and toss it in, and it turns from a mystical into a mana. And so I need one of each of those. And let's see, what else did the book say I needed? I need the redstone root, which I have right here. And it says I need a rune of air, which I have right here. So I have all the items I need to make this, except water, apparently. So let's grab some water out of our container. And like I said, I just toss them in. So we got our rune of air, we've got our redstone root, our mana petal, regular petal, mana petal. And they're all sitting in there floating. Now we're going to just toss in a seed. And we get our hopper hawk. Now, hopper hawks are cool because they will feed into an adjacent chest. So we place it right there, for instance, and we toss down some seeds. They will all disappear, and you'll find them right in this chest here. So now what we can do is we can come through, we can get our flowers together, press our button. We're going to press it a couple times to make sure we harvest everything. Alright, and now the hopper hawk is picking everything up and dumping it right into a chest. So we have like a really cool way to go through and harvest flowers for Botania without actually having to do any work. Now, the only thing we really need at this point then is some sort of timer, because we don't want to have to police this and watch it. We just want it to run. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a timer from Project Red, and I actually have one here. And we're going to set this up right here maybe. And you'll see it goes through and pulses and causes the plant to get to cut the plants down. But I want to do this every minute. I don't want to go through and completely, fill up crops really quick. I want it to have a chance to actually lay down some crops, or some plants rather. So we'll give it a minute, and what we'll do is we'll just kind of look at it, and if a minute's not quite long enough, then I'll set it for a longer interval. Right now we're about halfway through a minute, and you can see that it's doing okay. Let's check our mana. Yeah, see, our mana's doing all right. Let's see. We got another 15 seconds to go before it pulses. And we're not quite full, so when it does pulse, we may want to increase that timer. There's the pulse. Yeah, let's bump that timer up. Let's make it a minute, or 2 minutes rather. We're going to make it 2 minutes, and then that way it'll have time to fill the whole field. But at least now we've got like a really cool system for farming up all the flowers that we could possibly want from Botania. And we want a way to fill this, or to shut this off. But maybe no, let's do that now. While we're doing it, we might as well. We want a copper and maybe some red alloy wire. Yep, some red alloy wire. Okay. Alright, that is... Actually, let's use redstone. That might be better. That should lock it once it gets full. Which we're a far ways away from that, so I'll have to monitor it to make sure that's what it actually does. But at any rate, we've got a fully functioning like startup. And there's our living wood and our living rock. We got a fully functioning kind of startup to Botania and a great way to supply ourselves with some stuff off the bat. And, you know, if we're ever low on a flour and we want to set this thing off early, we can do so just by pressing the button. And I'm going to leave it there just for that reason. But it actually looks like it's maybe 15-20 seconds away now from harvesting again. So we're coming up on the 2-minute mark. And I think that's a good amount of flowers per harvest. Let's wait here. It should pop any minute. And there it goes. And there go the flowers. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good harvest rate. Now, the drum doesn't get everything the first harvest. So there's going to be times when it's more full than others, rather. But for now, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Our flowers are going to stockpile. We'll have tons of petals to be able to do all kinds of neat things. And, yeah, overall, I'm pretty ecstatic. So, next time when we come back, I want to work on getting some more items and baubles. I would love to have some baubles. Terra Steel, what's this one do? Well, it does nothing. What does it do? Bandivora. It's slowly, while equipped, creates and stores mana in your inventory. Huh, that's kind of cool. Oh, you know what we can do before we leave? Let's make a mana tablet. I don't see it there, so let's go to mystical items. Nope, I don't see it there. Let's just look it up. A mana tablet is kind of a way for you to be able to cart around and pick up mana. And all you need is a mana pearl and some living rock, which I have 8 right there. And we're going to grab a mana pearl. Now, if you need a mana pearl, you just drop an ender pearl into a mana pool, and it makes it into a mana pearl. There we go. And now this little mana tablet serves as a really cool way to kind of relocate mana faster. For instance, if we set our Wand of the Forest, you can tell when you hover over it, it's in function mode, and it says accepting mana from items. Now what we want to do is sparing mana to items. And if we toss in this tablet, whoops, come on now. We toss in that tablet, it'll slowly start feeding mana into that little tablet. And you can see that by the little lightning bolts. And if we tap the tray, yep, it's out. Okay, so all the mana that's going into it is going into this tablet. If we just walk up and pick it up and look, it's about half full with mana. So let's change that to accepting. This one is set to sparing. Let's do that with this one. And we're just going to have it disappear on us. Where did it go? Huh. Alright. Make sure it's not like in the ground or something weird. Did it go over here? Did the Hopper Hawk pick it up? The Hopper Hawk picked it up. Wow, that's some range on the Hopper Hawk. Okay, alright, well, we'll have to leave it to this one. So basically, we've drained this mana pool out, and whatever mana it does get is going over here so fast that it can't even keep up. So I'll have to let that build up for a bit. But anyway, our farm is going really good. It's about to harvest again. So we'll wait for that. And then we will call it an episode. Like I was saying, next time I would like to... Yay, it harvested. Next time I would like to start working on ways to generate mana better. These two flowers, Nightshade and Daybloom, are kind of like the introductory flowers for generating mana. There are some other cool ones like Functional Flora here. You've got, there's Endoflame, I think. That's Exoflame. That's not it. Let's see. Well, there are a couple of flowers. Is it? I don't even see it. That's the one that deals, that creates fuel for furnaces. I thought it was an Endoflame. It might be under generating flora. There we go. The Endoflame, right here, if you dump stuff on it, it creates flour. It creates mana. So if you dump like a fuel source on it, like for instance, if you dump coal blocks on it, it will go through and burn up that coal just like a furnace and generate it into mana, and then put it straight into your mana pool, which is kind of nice, and it generates a lot faster than a Daybloom. There's some other ones in here too. That one uses food. Munchdew, this one's kind of nice. This one generates mana, but it eats leaves off of trees. So we can actually set up a harvester with trees, and maybe we were talking about having a rubber plant farm here. So maybe we move it up here instead, and we get it to eat the leaves, and that generates mana. And that could be a cool way to generate mana. So yeah, we'll probably do that next time. But at any rate, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did so, please leave a like. And until next time, I will catch you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.